Now this is my topwater frog weight bait. A lot of people call him Freddy the Frog. As you can see, he's an amputee. So I'm going to try to give this guy a prosthetic and then take it out here to the pond and fish with it. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to try to replace this appendage. I'm going to leave this nub here. And I've got, this is I think a cream floating worm. And the objective here is going to be, so I cut it into these pieces. I measured them based off the other leg. I'm going to try to take this straight piece and glue it on here, and then attach this piece right here. And it's not going to be exactly what the frog has, but it should be in general. And if I can get the glue to adhere, this should be able to work out pretty good. So let me see what we can do to put it together, and then we'll take it down to the pond and fish it. Worst case, he's still an amputee, but it'd be really cool if this worked out. So far so good. Got our knee bend knuckle here. Just letting it sit in the sun and try to get that glue to set up before we make the next connection. Trimmed a little chunk off right here where it's going to attach to the other leg, and that'll kind of keep it at an angle, and it gives it more of a rough surface for that glue to sit in. Well, I believe we got Lieutenant Dan back. It's not perfect, but I think that's gonna work. It actually looks pretty close. If I could have flattened that one side out, it would look like the foot. But I think this is gonna work. So we're gonna try it out. I got some of the other wake baits out here that I like to use. This is a real cool custom painted rainbow trout one. And I love this lure. I don't really fish with it much because it's a one-off circuit board lip wake bait. Really nice paint job. This is one that came from a blank kit, and I've got the weight set up on it right and put all the pieces in it to get it balanced how I like it and change the hooks out. But it's a really good one, and instead of painting it, I like having it this clear color because it just really has a lot of reflection to it during the day. And then we got the Spro Rat. I like this one for the pond as well because it's just a single hook. What worries me with the treble hook baits, the duals like this, is if they strike for the head, that back hook is always lined up where it can get them under the gill plate. And if that back hook gets them in the gill plate, then you're going to lose that fish. So I'm always very careful about that, because to get a wake bait to get a strike on it, normally you're having to reel it really slow, and that's how they end up hitting it head first and then getting that back hook. So I fish them a little bit faster, hoping that the fish will just grab it and possibly get the back hook, and you're not having to worry about the front hook getting them. So, but with this Spro Rat, it just has the single hook in the belly. It doesn't have as good a hookup ratio, but less chance of hurting the fish. So I do like it a lot. So I think we're going to try doing some wake bait fishing today. So we got Lieutenant Dan ready here. I'm going to tie him up with the Palomar. I'm using the rod I'm using right here. This is my Lew's American Hero, Lew's Speed Spool American Hero combo. And I'm running, this is 17 pound trilene is what we're running on it. This is the one I use for my smaller glide baits and stuff. It just gives me a little bit more security. I know I'm not going to lose them as easy unless I do something stupid. And then once I do my Palomar, see, I've already got my Palomar knot tied, but I'm going to do an overhand knot and moisten this line once I get it closer. And what I like to do is I just tie a loose overhand, but I run it back through my split ring here, if I can get it in there. Okay, so I'll run it back through my split ring, after doing an overhand, but I haven't cinched it all the way down yet. Go back with my teeth. I'm gonna pull that down just lightly, and what it does is, now you see my tag end. See, I've got my line on here, but my tag end is pointed back in a way, kind of like how you would do a drop shot rig, and that keeps it from getting snagged on any grass. You got less chance of getting grass hung up here on your split ring. So, because we've got some algae and stuff on the pond, and then I'm going to cut it about a ½ inch. And if you cut it too short, it's going to pop back through it. But I don't want to cinch that knot down too hard. I just want it just like that. And so that way it makes it a little bit more weedless. It's not going to catch trash as I'm doing my retrieve. But Lieutenant Dan's got new legs. Let's go see how this works. I think it's gonna do fine. That looks pretty good to me, considering he was a righty only. And this is, like I said, it's a cream floating worm that I chopped up and then glued back in like that. And it's, I think that's gonna do a good job. So we've still got a little bit of shade cover on the pond. Let's see how he does. Next time I get a little bit of rain, knock the algae down on the pond. This is a custom painted bull shad from an independent company that I met at Knoxville Expo. But next time we get some clear weather, I've got to swap these hooks out. These are way too big for the fish that I'm going for in the pond. I'm gonna put some smaller hooks on this, and we're gonna do a swim bait video one day. I'd like to have a swim bait and glide bait video, like just dedicated to different ones that I have. But I gotta have the right conditions for that, because I'm not gonna risk losing these. They said this one's a custom paint, one-off lure here, and I have several others that I want to try out, but they're more collectibles than they are for fishing. These are lures to catch fishermen, not for fish. Just like this rainbow trout crankbait. Like, you know, I do not want to risk losing that thing. And earlier I said this was the Savage Gear rat, but this one is actually the Spro rat. I forgot about that. So this is the Spro. It's got the replaceable tail, single hook. It's even got the whiskers. If you can see that, it has little hair whiskers on the side of its face. I mean, this thing is attention to detail 100%. Alright, let's head down to the pond. So, we're only taking one lure and one rod with us, because I know with our weather here lately, topwater is not like going to be the most appealing to catch fish. But I've still got some shade on the pond on the far side, so we'll try to target some areas there. I kind of know where the fish like to hang out, but still it's going to be tough to get a topwater, let alone a wake bait bite. I'd probably be better off using a popper, but we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to leave the camera going just in case I get surprised and something happens quick. I like to get videos where from the time I make the cast till I hook into the fish, you know, so that everybody knows what I'm doing. Like, I've never faked anything on my channel, and I won't do it. I just won't do that. I got mad when I first started watching YouTube fishing channels because people were faking stuff. So that's just not me. But if you see that I'm putting cuts in and stuff like that, it's because in trying to learn the editing and everything, the time that it takes to edit the videos, and then also you know, I only have so much battery life. There's a school of bass swimming right there in front of me, but I only have so much battery life. You know, sometimes I'm fishing for a while, so I have to kind of set it up to make it a little bit easier for me to be able to edit the stuff. But I can promise you, everything that I put out is genuine, sincere, and honest. I want to be able to teach people how to fish this stuff. It took me years to learn how, you know, to do these different techniques, and there are some good channels on how to do it, but the time it takes to find those good channels, you know, that was what was so hard. I'd watch so many videos that were supposed to be tutorials, and I didn't learn a thing from them. Oh, I got a bass on it. I got a bass nosing up to it. He's nosing up to it, but I don't think he's going to strike it. I've got 3 largemouth right behind it and a group of bluegills, but they're just not hitting it yet. And I got Huey here nipping at my feet. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, Huey. Good boy. Good boy, buddy. Midnight, I wish you were more social. I'd pet you if you'd let me. All right, let's go for cast number 2. Oh, perfect, right near the bank. All right, I just gotta keep an eye on that. So I'm gonna cast out. Whenever you're using topwaters, the best rule of thumb I can say is cast it out, wait till all the ripples dissipate before you start reeling it in. And a lot of times before you start reeling it, something will come up and bite. And then once you do start reeling it, you can either do a straight retrieve, but I try to pretend when I'm fishing, I try to imagine that lure that I'm using, whether it be a frog or a minnow or a mouse or a worm or a crawfish, I'm picturing what I've seen them do in the water before, like naturally, and I try to imitate that. And then not just imitating what they would do, but imitating, like, say, to get a fish to strike normally, it's not that something just cruises by them slowly and they bite it. They see something cruising by and then it gets spooked and it'll start moving faster, or it'll jerk away from them real quick. So it's like you're working a puppet and you're a puppeteer. You're trying to make that thing look alive. And the more alive you can make it look, or the more injured you can make it look, or the more scared you can make it look, that's what's gonna get them to bite. So you just have to keep trying different stuff. We're on with Freddie. Bites, but they weren't getting the hook, and I didn't want to just fake a video. I mean, I caught 1 largemouth on it already, but I didn't get the actual video of hooking into it and everything. I got the video like after I landed it. I caught 1 smallmouth at the river. That didn't turn out well. I hooked into 1 largemouth here at the pond. That didn't turn out well on the video, so oh, thank you, Jesus, for helping that out. I knew the lure worked. I needed to prove it for the video. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Lieutenant Dan is back on active duty. That was just perfect. Cookie, you've been a good helper. You've helped me out a lot here, buddy. Thank you very much for the motivational support. You did a good job. He's my co-angler. Him and Huey. It depends on what day it is. But they like helping me out with fishing. Lieutenant Dan, are you liking your new leg? You like your new leg, buddy? He's been a good one. You definitely have earned a spot on the wall. Oh, we're on. We're on. Finally, come on, don't come off. Don't come off. Come on, buddy. No, don't shake it. Don't shake it. Camera's going. Boat flip. Yes. Cookie, back up. You back up, baby. Good deal. No, stay back. Stay back. Good deal, but no, you chill out. I'm gonna get you off the hook. You chill out. Oh, I'm so glad Lieutenant Dan did his job. Did his job well. Cookie, you get back. Cookie, back up. There we go. Okay. Lieutenant Dan, that's our third catch, but the first one I've been able to get from cast to catch. So this guy's going back up. Thank you, Lord. That's going to finish for us. All right, buddy, let's get you back in the water here. Good deal. Oh, awesome. With the weather we've had, it's been so hot. Trying to get something on Topwater has just been a nightmare. I've had